Good day, all X100K members. Yes, this is another live webinar. Yes, this is a training webinar on Friday. And yes, Michael, the owner, the creator, the originator of X100K, here's Michael.
And thanks, Sam, and welcome everybody to X100K's Path to Success broadcast. And this is no joke. It's April 1st, and we're going to go over some stuff that you guys might not might think it's an April Fool's joke, but it's not. We've been planning on this for a little bit over the past couple of weeks, going over how I'm going to give this presentation to you guys and talk about some of the things that we need to talk about, and especially when it comes to the business of X100K, the website, and so on and so forth. Some of the things that we're going to talk about today are like necessary precautions and some things that I see happening right now, and which prompts, right? Is a prompting of change, a prompting of this needs to be fixed before it gets out of control, or something to that nature. What we're going to go over with, we got Byron with us today, and of course when Byron's with us, the joke's on us because we're going to have a long webinar, and it's going to be some time. So I'm actually going to give you guys a few minutes here to go get something to drink or get a little snack or something like that, because when I start going into the presentation and the screen sharing and stuff like that today, it's going to be a little bit lengthy, and you're going to want to be able to focus on what I'm talking about so you have an understanding. I am betting that this webinar today is going to be gone over several times by members, because I don't think you're going to grasp it all in the first 15 minutes or even in the first presentation through the course of the webinar. You're going to need to have this knowledge, because in the future, as we move forward and go on, you're going to want to know what the heck we're talking about, especially when I tell you that this year is our third year at X100K, right? We're coming up on the Freeway 3. That's the third year, right? That's the third Freeway series. We're coming up on the relaunch of 2016, and that's the third relaunch. That's the third Pro 3. That's the third Scavenger 3. We'll be doing the Freedom 3 this year. That's the third year for the Freedom series. And then, of course, we'll be doing the S1K, which, again, a lot of people that have been with us for a little while, brand new people, if you're watching, you know, for the first time here at a webinar and stuff like that, when you see that 100% matching commissions on the S1K series, we're talking about some big-time money for a lot of people. And we're going to go over a lot of that stuff today. We're going to tie everything together. Today, I'm telling you this fact. All right, so are you ready? Are you sitting down? Did you get your little snack? Did you get your little drink? Take a breath, because I'm going to tell you the big deal. And the big deal is every single matrix launched this year is going to be completed 100% on every purchase made. Every purchase this year is going to be the 100% year for X100K. Every purchase in the Freeway 3 that's coming up here in May, every single one of those purchases will be 100% complete. The first freeway that will become complete. And I say that in context of, well, you're going to learn some more about matrices that we're coming up with in the future when I talk about that. I also mean that the Pro 3, that Pro 3, when the relaunch comes, that is a 100% matrix. That means 100% of every single position purchased will be completed. And I'm also talking about 100% with the Scavenger 3. That's 100% of all positions purchased in the Scavenger 3 this year will be completed. And I'm also talking about the S1K series. That's Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. Every single purchase made in the S1K is going to reach 100% completion. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit on how we're going to do that and why are we going to do that. And the reasons why are some things that I've looked at. Here we're coming into year 3, and I see some difficulties that come along when we do launches, when we hit reactivations, when we do these things. We have what I call cycling events. And what that means is somebody's Pro 3 or Pro 2 creates a Scavenger 2. That Scavenger 2 gets completed, right? When it gets completed, it gets 5 feeder matrix positions. That creation of the turbos causes a Turbo 2 to cycle, creating more scavengers, more pros, more all of this. And again, that goes down into Pro 1s and Scavenger 1s, and then we have a Scavenger 1 that gets completed. And we have this huge, massive cycling event. And when we talk about 2 scavengers cycling at the same time, we're talking about 10 feeder matrices, and we're talking about 300 freeways and 600 freedoms that need to be placed. And sometimes when that happens, I look in the back office, and it's literally an hour. It's an hour before that process gets completed. And it's not that we can't speed it up or that kind of thing. It's as fast as it can go. And what I look for in the process of what I'm talking about here is in the future, if we don't start controlling something that's going on with the matrices now, that in the future, come 2018, 2019, something that in that year, 2020, we're going to look at buying a matrix, and a really awesome matrix, a really great payout. Maybe it's a Scavenger 6, all right, a Scavenger 6 series. We go and to purchase that position, and it'll be days before that position gets placed, because so many cycling events will be going on that it'll take that much time for the events to get done and get completed, producing all of these positions and all these matrices before that position gets underway and gets placed. And then that position getting placed could cause this whole cycling event again, forcing the next person or the next position that was purchased after yours to be waiting another several hours or day before it gets placed. So we need to work on a strategy where we can complete positions in a timely manner, and base this action to cause these matrices to not exist anymore. So what I'm going to talk about today is really important, and I'm going to go in and do a screen share with everybody so that you guys can have a good idea with what is going to go on with those processes, so that everybody is on the same page. And first off, I want to do is again, I'm going to do a screen share. It's going to be some time. Just a little FYI. No matter how many times I've gone and rehearsed this, it's still, even in my rehearsal times, it's been 35 minutes at least for me to go through this process. So be prepared. This talking about what we're doing and what we're going to go through is going to really take some time. So you're going to have to bear with me as I go through this process. All right, so I'm going to do a screen share with you guys. And I'm going to come over here to that new matrix page. You can see that, right, guys?
Yes, looks good.
All right. All right, so here I'm going to sit down because I don't want to have to stand up and try to visualize from way away from my computer monitor. So here we are in the Freeway 3 series, and again, we're talking about all of these new series coming up this year. All of this stuff on this page, except for this Freedom 2, which hasn't changed, right? We're going to be changing this to the Freedom 3 pretty soon. You'll see the matrix layout, how it works, and so on and so forth right here on this new matrix page. We're talking about every single one of these purchases that you make in these matrices. And I say purchase. That means you went over to the purchase positions page and you purchased a position. We're talking about purchases here. We're not talking about entries that come off of cycling or completion of a matrix, okay? So every purchase has now just become that much more valuable this year. And that's not any different than every single year that we've had. We've talked about this before, that the purchasing and the buying structure at X100K is the most important part of the program. What I see is a lot of people thinking that, oh, I'm going to wait for my Scavenger 1 that I just got today on a Scavenger 2 cycle, and I can't wait for that position to make me my $1,000 that's that time frame is literally too far down the road. It's too far down the road. It's literally right now, if you cycle the Scavenger 2, because the Scavenger 3 is coming, the Scavenger 4 is coming, the Scavenger 5 is coming, the Scavenger 6, even though we have a lot of reverse cash flow that goes down into the different matrices, that Scavenger 1 that you just got today is most likely not going to cycle or be completed until sometime in 2025, maybe even later. Why? Because we got so many different money-making matrices that come in each and every single year. And so what we need to do, people, is we need to start developing a way to delete matrices. And what I'm going to do, and what I'm talking about here, people, is right over here on the members update page. All right. So just so I got my pages a little mixed up there, but here we are on the members update page, and we're talking about what's already been done, what's already running. We're talking about the Freedom 2s, Freeway 2s, Freedom 1, Freeway 1s, Pro 1, Pro 2, and all future matrices, of course, are going to be here on the most recent update page, talking about which ones are still running and which ones are not. But with each matrix that is coming up on this page, we have what's called the LPP number. And as you know, the LPP number is the last purchased position, and that's the number of the position that was purchased just prior to the closing of that matrix. And with that being said, this number right here is the most valuable number in all of the matrices. Everything less than that is now containing the 100% value of that matrix. And what I mean by that is that when we start reaching these numbers, and not the BEP number, this is the number that tells us that everybody that purchased the position, nobody lost any money. But we want to create profit. We want to create a profit margin. And what we've got going on here is we've got some of these bigger matrices as in the form of the Freeway 1, which doesn't even have a BEP number, right? It doesn't have that BEP number like the Freedom does or the Freeway 2 does. It does not have that. That means it is required that all of these positions be completed in order for you to make the money back that you used to purchase that position. And this being the Freeway 1 is the smallest matrix in the Freeway series to date. What's going to be coming with the Freeway 4 is probably the smallest matrix in the Freeway series ever. And it'll probably be the smallest matrix in the Freeway series ever, because we're going to start developing these matrices to be smaller so that we can reach those numbers, so we can reach BEP number and LPP number faster. And when we reach these numbers, and I'm not talking about the BEP number, the BEP number is just for your reference as to know when everybody who purchased a position has broke even, meaning nobody lost any money, period, whatsoever. But the number that we're really going to be focusing on is that LPP number. And the reason why we're going to be focusing on that LPP number is that from now on, when a matrix reaches its LPP number, that matrix is going to be deleted from the system. So any positions that are entered into the Freedom 1, the Freeway 2, the Freedom 2, the Freeway 1, the Pro 1, the Scavenger 1, the Scavenger 2, the Turbo 1, the Turbo 2, and in the future we're going to have these Pro 2s with those numbers, and we're also going to have those numbers with the trifectas and the S1Ks and the Scavenger 3s. All of those numbers are going to have an LPP number, and that LPP number, when it's reached, that matrix is going to be deleted. And what I'm going to do here is sort of explain how all of this works and all of the different things that we're going to do to make sure that these reach the 100% completion rate on positions purchased. Everything that's before the LPP number and including the LPP number is a purchased position, meaning you actually went into your back office, clicked that purchase positions page, and used some of your available balance to purchase those positions. And that took funds from your account balance. Anything that comes after the LPP number Even though it comes after the LPP number, doesn't mean it's not unable to earn. Those numbers, as we know, are going to be shown here a little bit more here when I go over to the matrix designs page. You're going to see that there's multiple levels. So again, some people can get a position that was entered after the LPP number, but it'll still break even for them. It still produce on that first level. And what I mean by that is I'm going to go over here to the Freeway 3, and we're going to start with this. And the reason why I'm starting with the Freeway 3 series is because this series is the only series that doesn't give entry to anything else but freeways, right? All right, so we have the Freeway 3 series coming up, and there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. We've got an excellent opportunity where you can take your level 1 completion and take that 50 cents and put it back in and buy another position, and so on and so forth. You can earn on level 2 $2.50. You're going to earn on level 3 $7. Your total is $10. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This will be the last Freeway series that you can make enough funds on one position to become a pro member. This is going to be the last Freeway series where you can make $7 or more from one position. And so what I mean by that is that in the future, this is going to be just like this. There won't be a third level. There will be only 2 levels. And the 2 levels will pay out a total of maybe $2 or $3 or whatever. And that'll be the maximum amount that pays out. It will not reach up into the $7 and $10 range. That means that even if you're a brand new person or a sponsor buying for your downline or so on and so forth, that you will be required to purchase more than one position. You will be learning to earn on the leveraging system that we utilize here at X100K. Now, the great thing about this whole process right here, and I'm talking about it just in the Freeway series, is again, all you do is get Freeway entries. These are never going to change, people. If it's in the series and it gives a reverse cash flow entry, meaning it goes into a lower or an older series matrix like the Freeway 3 does, it gives 5 Freeway 2s. We go to the Freeway 2s, we get 10 Freeway 1s. And again, those aren't going to change because there isn't any other way to assimilate this process. We still want reverse cash flow through all the matrices. But what's going to be really exciting for people, even as we get through the Freeway 3, that one goes up into the upper Freeway series. It still gives an entry up there and so on and so forth. What's really unique about this series is that it doesn't give any of those entries into other matrix. It's all about making enough money to become a pro member. And this will be the last series where you can do it with just one position. Every series after this is going to require that you get 1, 2, 3, 4 positions purchased from your back office, and they will be within the LPP number, meaning they will be in the 100% ability to complete. We are also going to be monitoring these matrices to cap them. They're going to be capped earlier, meaning I don't want to have 5 million Freeway 3s this year. So if we reach 2 million, I'm shutting it off. It's going to end at 2 million. We will not do more than 2 million positions in this matrix. Just a little FYI. Again, 2 million positions that create $10 each. Hello, that's a lot of money. And that's a lot of people making enough to keep their subscription current. We're going to go over a little bit more about that as we go along. But before I go too much further about how the series works, the Freeway 3 series works, I still want to talk about the LPP number and the 100% completion ability that is coming with this year's series. And why is it this year versus last year or the year before that or next year and so on and so forth? Well, because I can look at our number values and see that if we don't do it within the 3-year span, that we don't start trying to delete some of these matrices, when we get to year 7 and 8 and 9, that there's going to be too many matrices running at the same time, and it's going to clog up the system. It's going to slow it down so immensely that people will be buying a position on Monday, and they won't be getting placed until the following Monday. Right? We don't want that. We want these positions to be placed. We want them to cause the events of entries and so on and so forth, of causing other positions to be placed when they get completed, those entries and so on and so forth. So as we talk about this, I want you to understand that we are going to start limiting some of these matrices, especially the Freeway series, the Freedom series. Those matrices, they have high number values as far as the number of positions that are required for us to reach that LPP number. That's why in the future the Freeway series is also going to go down. The reason why we're doing it this year is because I want you guys to be ahead of the game, be prepared, and be knowledgeable of what this series is all about. And what I mean by that is this, and I'm going to go over here to the Scavenger series. Again, we're just on the Matrix Designs page, people. That's over here in your left-hand corner, just to let you know where we're at. And I'm going to start up here right now with the Scavenger 3, because this is the newest matrix coming. It's the smallest scavenger in the series. Again, this is going to be our first 100% completion series matrix. I am betting right now, people, that the Scavenger 3 will be the first matrix to reach its LPP number of all matrices that come and go from here on out. And why? Well, because I've already done some of the math on this, and some of that math says that we're going to see a huge amount of results coming in the future with a lot of the changes that I'm talking about. So how are we going to make this Scavenger 3 be a 100% series matrix and be the first matrix to complete it? How is that 100% series going to work? How are we going to accomplish making the LPP number in the Scavenger 3 be completed, be the one that gets completed, and therefore every position purchased reached 100% completion rate, and also paid out every single person that purchased a position $300? Well, part of that process is in our ability to cause some changes in what we call the entries, right? From now on, if it says entry, we're going to be changing that. That's going to be known as a fill entry. And fill entries are not guaranteed to earn, meaning they are really just filler positions so that we can reach that LPP number. Again, some of those positions can reach that first level filled in the Scavenger series, and you still make $7.50, and that's a great opportunity. As you can see up here in the level 1 and the level 2, you earn $7.50 on the first level, $300 on the second level. That's a total of $307.50. And what you also see here is you get a whole bunch of these different matrices, right? The feeder matrices that come off the scavengers, well, they're going to stay the same. The Scavenger 2 positions, they're going to stay the same. What is going to change is this right here, that 7 Pro 2 positions. When the Pro 3 ends, not before, not when the Scavenger 3 ends, when the Pro 3 ends, when that last position purchased and that number is placed in the members update page, this matrix will switch from 7 Pro 2 positions to 7 Pro 3 positions. And that same action will be happening over here in the scavengers. When that Pro 3 ends, that will not be 10 Pro 1 positions. It will become 10 Pro 3 positions. And as we go over here to the Scavenger 3, same actions. You will get not just 1 Pro 1 position, you'll get 1 Pro 3 position. Okay? And again, you're still going to get your feeder series, you're still going to get your scavengers. This Freeway 1 right here that you get off this scavenger right now, Scavenger 1, that's going to turn to a Freeway 3 when the Freeway 3 ends. Okay, so when the last position is purchased in the Freeway 3, I will go through all the matrices, and anything that gives a Freeway entry other than Freeway series positions, right? We're not changing the reverse cash flow. We're just changing the different matrices. like the scavengers that go into that. And that's going to work in the same capacity when we go up to the new income stream series, okay? Now I'm going to start with the S1K and Tier 3, and we're going to work our way backwards through this process so you guys can follow me through this. As we go through this process, you're going to see 5 Scavenger 3. That's going to stay the same. Trifecta is going to stay the same. These 15 Pro 2, well, when the Pro 3 ends, that's going to be turned into 15 Pro 3. And that's going to increase the number of Scavenger 3s and therefore help us create that LPP number in the Scavenger 3 series faster than any other matrix that we've ever built or ever used or run here at X100K. And in the future, that's what's going to be happening with a lot of the Scavenger 3s or the Scavenger series. They're going to be the fastest series in the whole mix. Why? Because it's just a 3x2 matrix. It's very simple, very fast. We don't need a lot of positions to create that LPP number. We just need that 9 that fill that second level, fill that final level to get the completion of that matrix. And where are we going to get some of those positions? We're going to get it right from the very same S1K series and Scavenger series that we offer right now. So as you see right here in the S1K Tier 3, when that Pro 3 ends, that's going to turn into 15 Pro 3, not 15 Pro 2. But only after the Pro 3 series ends, not after the Scavenger series ends, only when the Pro 3 series ends. Tier 2, what you see here is you're going to get a Tier 1 S1K, and you're still going to get your trifectas. That's going to stay the same. That's good news. Again, we're going to come back here, and I'm going to talk a little bit more because this is a multi-tiered matrix. And we need to talk to you about how this multi-tiering is going to work as far as what happens if the S1K Tier 1 is completed, but the Tier 3 and the Tier 2 aren't done. Well, if the Tier 3 is not done, then the Tier 1 is going to continue until the Tier 3 is done. All right? Same with the Tier 2. If the Tier 2 is not done, but the Tier 1 has reached its LPP number, the Tier 1 is going to still continue until the Tier 2 is done. All right? This has just made these matrices that much more valuable, people. All right? Because, again, what's going to happen in the series as we go through the Tier 1 and the Tier 2 and the Tier 3 is different. We're going to make this action happen. As you can see, the cost and the value of the Tier 3 is $300. And the Tier 2, when you get it completed, you get an S1K Tier 3. Well, if the Tier 3 is completed, you won't get an S1K Tier 3. What you're going to get is Scavenger 3 and login ads. So in the amount of $300. So you're going to get 4 Scavenger 3s on a Tier 2 completion if the Tier 3 is completed, right? If it's been completed, it's deleted. That's like a little rhyme we should all be thinking about. If it's completed, it's deleted. The LPP number is the completion number. That's what you know as for sure when it reaches that number on most of these matrices, again, except for these multi-tiered matrices like the S1K, the trifecta, and the turbos, all right, because they have multiple tier actions that go along with these matrices. When you reach that Tier 2 and the Tier 3 is completed, instead of $300 going into an S1K series, it's going to go into a Scavenger series and become login ads for a total of $300. Same thing with the Tier 2. If the Tier 2 is completed, that's a $90 value. But the Tier 1 is not. Instead of getting a Tier 1 that you see down here in the entries, you're going to get a Scavenger plus whatever's left over in login ads. Okay? So that way that the value of the matrix is still contained. Again, you still make a lot of money in these matrices, and it's all about completing these matrices and getting you from $90 to $240, right? And not only that, reaching that BEP level, which is so important for a lot of you guys, and enabling you to purchase more and continue leveraging and so on and so forth. Same thing with the trifectas. Trifecta, the race 3 is $250. If it's completed and the race 2 is not, that $250 is going to turn into scavengers and login ads. Same with the race 1. if the tier 2 is completed, and the race 2 is completed and the race 3 is completed, that $75 that you would get, it goes towards the cost of a race 2 in the race 1, which is all you get in the race 1, right? Is you get a trifecta race 2. That's going to turn into a scavenger series, and also login ads. All right, so if you take the math and do the math, $72.50 from $75 leaves $2.50 in login ads. Not a big amount of login ads, so on and so forth. But again, all of these positions have been completed. All of the race 3s have been completed, and we'll be working on completing all of the race 1s. Same with the turbos. Again, why are we doing it backwards? There's a lot of reverse cash flow. All right, people, there's a lot of reverse cash flow in these matrices, including the Turbo 2s, which give you, right now, it gives you a trifecta race 1. That's a form of reverse cash flow. When you talk about reverse cash flow, and I'm going to go back here to the S1K, and we're going to go to Tier 3 just so we can talk about it a little bit more. You're getting 5 trifecta race 1s off of that matrix. This is going to be one of the most powerful matrices ever built here, and ever built, period. Members, especially if it's in the 100%. This is the first year that's going to happen. Again, everything that happens is going to be happening in this capacity for you guys to understand. What I mean by this is when the S1K is ended, the feeder matrix is going to permanently feed the S1K Tier 1 until all Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 positions in the S1K are 100% completed based on the LPP number. From here on out, from the moment the S1K ends, the moment it ends, I'm going into the feeder matrix and I'm changing it over to Tier 1s, and every single feeder matrix will give a Tier 1 entry until it's 100% completed. Even if the Weapon of Wealth comes next year or 2 years from now, whatever matrix comes after it, it will not switch over to the feeder matrix until the Tier 1 and Tier 2 and Tier 3 are completed in the S1K series. And that's not where it stops. It's going to go right back into the NIS series. So once the S1K is done, it's going to switch to the trifecta. And once the trifecta is done, it's going to switch to the twin turbos. And what we're going to do is every 3 years, that's the 100% year. Every 3 years. So 3 years from now, we're going to have another 100% completion series year. Meaning every single position purchased that year is going to be adjusted through all of the matrices as it gets completed, as they get completed throughout the year. They're all going to be adjusted like they are this year. So in year 3, 3 years from now, when it's 2019, and we do the Freeway 6, that will be a 100% completion matrix. That matrix will be the one that comes from the feeder until it's 100% completed. Again, once the Freeway 3 is completed, the feeder matrix is going to feed the Freeway 3s until it's 100% completed. Once the last position is purchased in the Freeway 3, the feeder matrix will feed the Freeway 3 until every single LPP number has been completed, until that's reached. And that matrix is deleted. When it's deleted, it'll go to Freeway 2 until it's deleted. And then it'll go to Freeway 1 until it's deleted. And then it will go to Freeway 6. Okay? Now, what if we are in the Freeway 6 and you complete all those matrices before that? Well, then we'll go from the oldest to the youngest. So then it'll go from Freeway 1 to Freeway 4, and then Freeway 5. Okay? Unless we have a 100% series matrix, everything will go up until that. If we're at the 100% series, everything will go down into the older matrices. It'll switch downwards. Just so you understand how that works. Again, Freeway 3, when it gets done, it's going to be in the feeder matrix until every Freedom 3 has reached its LPP number. 100%. And of course, we're going to have more matrices. You make money off of matrices, people. You know that, right? We do make people buy. People are making money right now in trifectas and in scavengers and so on and so forth. And again, more money is going to be made by a lot more people throughout the years here at X100K, especially those that purchase this year, because this is going to speed up this year's matrix to be a shorter time span. And what we're going to do also, people, so that you have an idea, and again, I went through this NIS series a little bit so that you guys could see this. Right now on the Turbo 2, you get 3 Scavenger 1. When the Scavenger 3 is ended, that's going to be 3 Scavenger 3. All right? When the Freeway 3 is ended, it's going to be 61 Freeway 3 positions. When the Pro 3 is ended, it's going to be 1 Pro 3 position. All right? Turbos, the same process. You're going to get the same thing. It's all going to switch. The Pros are going to switch to Pro 3 when it ends. The Freeways are going to switch to Freeway 3s when it ends. Same with their trifectas, which is still running, people, which is why you should still be buying, because we're just showing how fast we're going to make those S1K, which gives tons of entries, right? You get 5 trifectas on a tier 3. You get 4 trifectas on a tier 2. You get 1 trifecta on a tier 1. There's going to be a lot of trifectas running. Hello? Make sure that you understand that this purchase that you're making in the trifecta is a very small matrix. It's going to be easy for us to complete once we complete the S1K series. It'll be like completing the trifecta after the S1K is done is going to be like, oh, I need 2 positions. It might actually complete the trifecta before the S1K is completed. And then all of those entries that go from the trifecta, they won't, are in the trifecta that were going to the reverse and going into the turbos up here, they're going to go into turbos still. But again, the S1K won't be given trifectas. It will be given turbos if the trifecta is completed before the S1K series is done. All right? Same process with the pros, people. Are you ready for this? This is what I'm talking about. This is why those scavengers and those S1Ks are looking like the most valuable matrices ever ever brought together or ever made. And the reason why is we're talking about this Pro 1, the Pro 2, and the Pro 3. Pro 3 hasn't launched. We're running Pro 2s right now. Guess what? Pro 2s are going to end, right? They're still going to give a Pro 1. They're still going to give a Scavenger 2. But once the Scavenger 3 is over, all Pro 2s will give Scavenger 3 positions. All Pro 1s will give Scavenger 3 positions. Right? And again, all the reverse cash flow will still remain the same. You will still get that up entry on the Pro 1 into the Pro 3. You will still get a Pro 1 on the Pro 2 completion. And you will still get a Pro 2 on the Pro 3 completion. All right? But everything is going to feed the Scavenger 3 series until it's 100% completed. And then it will switch to Scavenger 2s, and then it will switch to Scavenger 1s, and so on. Same with the Freeway series. All of that stuff is going to change into those matrices. And with the Pro 3 is one of those positions, or the 100% series that we're talking about here, the 100% completion year matrix. That means there's going to be a lot of Scavenger 3 entries off of that. And I'm looking at the Scavenger 3 reaching a 100% completion rate. And another thing that's going to change, so just a little FYI, and I'm going to go back over here to the new matrix page for you guys. We're going to talk about the relaunch. Come down here to the scavengers. And what I want you blah, 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 right? I'm fumbling my mouth here. What I want you to see here and get a grasp of is this. Once these scavengers are done, right, they give 7 Pro 2s. This Scavenger 3 gives 7 Pro 2s. It's going to switch to Pro 3s when it's done. So it's actually going to help feed itself even more. And when the Pro 3s are gone, if this is not completed, which I'm pretty sure it will be, it's going to keep feeding. But what we have here right now is that your limit is 2 per day. That's going to be back up to 3 per day, right? So that over a 180-day period, you can buy 3 positions a day. You can buy literally nearly 500, if not more, positions in the Scavenger 3. 500. 500 times 300 is $150,000. If we're looking at maybe making this possible, and it's looking even more and more possible every time that I go through this schematic and go over this as I was doing rehearsals to talk to you guys about how this is going to work and how it's going to be done. It's looking like the Scavenger 3 is on a 2-year completion process, meaning when the Scavenger 4 gets done and we go through either Weapon of Wealth or whatever is in the New Income Streams series that year, when that is completed, the Scavenger 3 will most likely be about done. It'll be over. It'll be deleted from the system. All of them will have completed. So it's quite possible right now, just in the Scavenger 3 series, that if you're buying 3 a day every day for the 180-day period, again, 3 times 180 is a little bit more than 500, but we're going to sort of limit it down to a number value that is around 500, roughly 170 days, so that it's ended before the Scavenger 4 launch, the pre-launch, and all that good stuff, right, people? So it's ended in that timely fashion. So you can get up to about 500 positions in this matrix if you are purchasing every single day. That can turn into $150,000 in just a couple of years. That's what we're talking about in the completion process. That's why I believe that this one is going to be the first matrix that reaches the LPP number. It's only 9 positions to complete a matrix. We need those 9 positions to complete a matrix versus 27. We're going to create a lot of positions when those matrices that are given entries into the Pro 2 and the Pro 1 right now, they switch over to the Pro 3. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of positions getting placed in the Scavenger 3 just through the Pro series, right? And that's the Pro 1, the Pro 2, the Pro 3. They're going to all be switched over to Scavenger series, Scavenger 3 series matrices on completion versus the Scavenger 1, the Scavenger 2, and so on and so forth. And then we're going to work back down the line. Because this matrix is so fast and because it gives out that one Scavenger 2 position, again, some people might want to talk a little math. That's actually one more position than all the other matrices have been giving to the Scavenger series. In reverse cash flow, you're going to get, instead of 3 on completion, you're literally what we would normally be on the Scavenger 2, 3 positions into a Scavenger 1. The number value says it's 4 out of 27 positions. Okay, people? 4 positions are created in Scavengers instead of 3. So we just upped that game. Guess what? We just upped this game right here in the feeder matrix. And I mean big time, people. Big time. When you look at the Scavenger 3 series, and I'm just going to pop over here real quick and show you what I'm talking about in the Scavenger 3 series, or even the Scavenger 2, when you look at the 5 feeder matrix positions that you get, that's on 27 positions being loaded into the system. But again, you got 3 and then 9. That's the 27 3 times. But again, one of those positions will already been completed beforehand. That's 4 times 2. That's 8, not 5. That's 8 feeder matrix positions based on the Scavenger 3 number value. 8 as compared to 5. This is going to be big as far as feeding the feeder matrix right now in the trifectas, the race 1s. If you didn't look at all of this stuff when you were looking at purchasing, when you were looking at withdrawing all that money, when you're looking at what am I going to do this next year for money, again, this is what you're going to do. You need to be on the leveraging plan. You need to understand what leveraging is all about, why it creates wealth, how are we going to create wealth here in the X100K. This year's series, all of them, the Freeway 3, the Pro 3, the Scavenger 3, the Freedom 3, the S1K Tier 1, the S1K Tier 2, and the S1K Tier 3 just became the most valuable matrices on the planet. They are the unbeatable matrices. They are the matrices that will reach 100% completion before all other matrices. And I'm not saying that there isn't a possibility that right now, because you guys have not done the purchasing in the trifectas like you should have. You should be up there at twice as many as in the turbos, but you're not even half as many. You didn't purchase half as many. Sort of a shameful thing to me that we're going to try to give $50,000 away to a family and charity, and you guys can't even purchase 2,000 positions in the trifecta race 2. If that's a 100% completion, we're only able to give away $20,000. That's not $50,000. We need that to be $50,000 because that's a number value in the whole logistic of wealth attraction, the power of giving and it coming back to you 10 times that amount. We need to get that to the 55,000 positions, just like I talked about before. You need to dig deep and start thinking about what the future is for you. You guys trying to live on putting $7 in one time and trying to roll that for a full year and then roll that for another year and another year. Again, money takes money to make it. All right? You need to have money to make money. We enable you with every single asset that you get here at X100K, which is a purchased position. All right? We're trying to rely on a Scavenger 1 to make you wealthy that just came off of Scavenger 2 today is not how you do it. That position probably won't earn for 15 years. 15 at the rate we're going. So unless we start building a kill series like we are right now, where every single matrix this year is on the kill list, this is on the hitman list, this is the first matrix we need to kill in that series, reach that LPP number and delete it from the matrix so that when we sell a Scavenger 6, you're not waiting 7 days for that position to be placed. We have to start this now in order for that to be accomplished. We need to work on those positions in that capacity so that every single one of these series start reaching that LPP number that I'm talking about right here on the members update page. These are the values. Only these have true value here at X100K. Everything that gets entered after that, sure, yeah, it can earn on 1 level or 2 levels. Again, the Freedom 2 is multiple levels. The Freeway 2 is multiple levels. There's several levels to earn on in those matrices. Yes, you can earn from a position that gets placed into that matrix that is after the LPP number. But once that number is reached, that matrix is deleted, and that's all there is to it. The reason why is because unless you want us to just shut down in 2019 and everybody lose their money, this is what we have to do. Because these matrices come 2020 and 2021, 22, there's going to be 30 matrices. And the computer will not be able to facilitate 30 different cycling events all at the same time. Right now we use virtual memory pretty high, real high virtual memory when we go into these cycling events. We can't build a virtual memory platform that is 420,000 terabytes. And people that know what I'm talking about with memory allocation, terabytes is a lot of memory. But we're running on a terabyte of memory right now, and it's working. Don't get me wrong, it's working. But also, I look at the amount of time it takes for that to be completed, and it's an hour and a half sometimes when we have certain cycling events that go through when I hit, especially at times when I hit reactivations, right? When we have a strong reactivation day, 2,000 or 3,000 subscriptions get reactivated. It's literally, that thing is running for 2 days doing reactivation, 2 whole days, because there's so many cycling events going on in between the subscriptions that it forces the subscriptions not to run because it's too busy placing positions that from an scavenger 2 that got completed. It gave a whole bunch of freedoms and freeways and so on and so forth, and scavenger 1s, and then it caused another scavenger 1 to get completed, and that caused more freedoms and freeways, and again that goes through the feeder matrix, and then freeways and freedoms they complete, they cause more freedoms and freeways to complete, so on and so forth, for several minutes, and again up to I've watched it for an hour and a half on a cycling event. An hour and a half. And that was every single matrix completed something. Every single matrix. Trifecta, race 3, race 2, race 1, turbo 1, turbo 2, scavenger 1, scavenger 2, pro 1, pro 2, freeway 1, freeway 2, freeway, freedom 1, freedom 2. They all completed, all at the same time. Through the same action. They forced each other to be completed. We completed so many matrices in 1 hour and a half, it was like, wow. And then like 10 minutes later, everybody withdrew, which is just amazing to me. That you, again, I predict this, and I'm going to predict this right now. The first person to cause your failure is you. You can't blame anybody else, people. You can't blame anybody. When you guys want to make money and you got no money in your account, but you withdrew $750 and your subscription is inactive, and you're like, oh, it's not fair. I don't get to be loyal. It's your own fault. Don't talk to me about it. That's what you chose. You made that choice. And that choice is what is making everything that you do be part of what your actions that come in the future are. All right. So in the future, if you're not leveraging, it's going to be even harder for you to make money. All right. You're not going to be able to make money on these filler positions that are coming in the future. Again, what goes into a scavenger 1 today? Sure, it's got 3 levels, right? It's not going to earn on that 3rd level, but it can on the 1st and the 2nd level, which is still going to enable you to reach a break-even point, where that money that was used to purchase that position, used in that in putting that position in that matrix, you can still earn that back to enable you to purchase a position in a fresher matrix, which now with the scavenger 3, I'm betting right now there's a whole bunch of people going, well, crap, I shouldn't have withdrew all that money. Now I got to put all that money back in. Well, thank you for helping out Solid Trust Pay so much, people. You're welcome. I'm betting Stella's going, oh, I love that X100K. Those people are so, they just don't know what the heck they're doing. They withdraw money, and they put it back in. They withdraw it, they put it back in. I'm making 2.5% every single time. It's awesome. Give me another $1 million, Michael. Thank you. That's what I'm betting Stella's talking about. Same with Payza and Advocash and every single one of them. When you withdraw it, you make them money. You don't make money. You put that money in your pocket. It's not wealth money. It's not going to change your life that much. Now, does it change your life? Of course it does. I know Doug Reynolds is here today, and Doug's a good friend of mine on Skype, and we talk a lot. Doug struggles a lot in life. He works hard at just trying to make it to tomorrow. But when we drop $1,000 in his pocket, it's life-changing. It makes it so for the next 3 or 4 or 5 months, his life isn't looking at what am I going to do tomorrow. It's like, I can look forward to tomorrow. I can look forward to Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. I can look forward to the weekend. I can go do something instead of being trapped and not able to do anything and trying so hard to make money online and enable yourself. I understand how things are in the world, all right? Everybody's in the same boat. Don't think that you're not. I don't care if you make $150,000 a year. You're in the same damn boat as everybody else, all right? Because any day something can happen in your life, and that $150,000 a year is gone. And you're wondering, where is my wealth coming from? Then you have to be like John and Sam and Byron and Justine and Phil and Brett and everybody else who's been leveraging, because living in the lifestyle that you have right now, I know it's tough some days, but you got to look at the 3 to 5 year plan of making this your wealth, not just a paycheck every once in a while. I'm talking about a paycheck every month. I mean enough money for you to think, hey, I'm wealthy. You're almost a multimillionaire like Sam Nickel, right, Sam?
That's right, guys. And I've been talking about what Michael's been explaining to you now for 30, 45 minutes. And that's exactly why I've been telling you, be real cautious about hitting that withdrawal button. And I was serious for 18 months. I've been serious. And I think everybody that's at this webinar, if you haven't taken your business, and this is a business opportunity, if you haven't taken your business that you have here at X1K serious, it's time to start taking it serious. And what he's done here is going to enable you to build a really strong business now. So get serious about your business. And like I've said for 18 months, be cautious about hitting that withdrawal button. It's not your advantage to do that unless it's absolutely necessary. So build your business, and I guarantee you will be on the path to wealth. So get in here with us, and if you're brand new and this is your first webinar you attended, well, it's probably all this is probably a little bit over your head, but it's still a fantastic business opportunity. Get in it and learn and start your path to wealth. This is where the money is. So get in here and learn how to now you're going to learn how to leverage your early earnings, and that's what you want to do. I've been talking about it now for over a year and a half. So those that have been doing it, you've set yourself up. Those that haven't, you may be in a tad bit of rebuilding mode. I'm not going to say, you're going to be in a rebuilding mode. You tore your bricks off your house you tried to build, well, now you're going to have to put them back on. Back to you, Michael.
Yeah, and understanding how these matrices work is a big deal. I know Dean's here. Dean was on our show here Wednesday and brought what's his name, John? What's the name of his puppet?
George.
George.
Yep.
George. Okay, so Dean was on Wednesday and brought in George, but Dean's one of those guys, just like Phil and a lot of people here on the panel, that looks at the matrices. And when you look at that S1K, and I know Dean's one of those people, now that it's a part of the 100% year, hello, I want to buy every single darn one of my downline an S1K, because one, I make that $20 back, right? And they make $20. Then I make another $20, and they make $20. And if it gets up into the tier 2 before it reaches its LPP number, and those are things that we're going to be talking about when it comes to the S1K, tier 3 and tier 2. Those are going to be limited now. I said I was going to try and let it go for the whole duration, but in order for that tier 3 to reach an LPP number that is feasible, right? That is something that is accomplishable, not something like, oh, maybe in 2047. No, I mean, we want to have that done by 2019 if we can, right? 2020 at the latest. We want all those positions in that tier 3 to be done, that tier 2 to be done, that tier 1 to be done. That's what we want, right? So we can shorten up the time span, therefore create a profit per day percentage, which is just something like you would do if you're going to compound your interest, right? Knowing that you were going to make X amount of dollars in a year, you would like to take that money and turn it into a little bit more in the next year, and a little bit more the next year, to reach that Max Pro status, which is just like like we talk about in the X100K, reaching that Max Pro status is going to be a big deal in the future, because a lot more people are going to reach it. The enabling of the Scavenger 3 series to be on that LPP number, again, I'm seriously think that the tier 1 and the tier 2 and the tier 3, this S1K series, is really going to enable that process to actually happen. You got to look back down in the trifectas, in the turbos, right, with their scavenger entries. As soon as the Scavenger 3 is over, they don't give those entries into Scavenger 1 and Scavenger 2. It goes up into the Scavenger 3. The Scavenger 3 creates feeder matrices, which create S1Ks. All right, so again, everything's going to tie together really nicely, and we're going to actually, it's sort of like the lacing on your shoes. We're at the end. Now we just need to tighten it up, make our knot, and we can run. We can go, right? But if we don't tie our shoes, we're going to stumble a couple of feet down the road. We might step on our own shoelace and trip ourselves and break our knee, hospital bills and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I'm just kidding there with the hospital bill. But again, but it's the same analogy that if we don't do something now to tighten up our shoes, make sure that our shoelaces are tied, and get ready for the big run, which is this S1K, which is the Scavenger 3, which is this year, the third year of X100K. And you people watching out on the outside, I know I can see you down here on my monitor. I see there's a lot of people out there. This is the year. All right, X100K has been here for 2 years, and a lot of people don't really realize how powerful it is because you're all interested in this fast cash, and that's the mentality that you guys have got to get out of your head. It is not beneficial for you mentally. It is not beneficial for you wealth-wise. All right, no millionaire who looks at a program and says, and I'm not talking about program. I'm talking about people like Sam and even John and Byron and those guys that invest in other things, that have investments in other companies and so on and so forth, and not online stuff. I'm talking about when Sam goes and buys a well, he doesn't buy it thinking, oh, I'm going to make $40 million next week on this $3 million well. That's not what he thinks. He's thinking, I'm not going to make any money on this thing for a year at least. Everything that I do make is going to go for the production of that oil well, go for manpower, go for licensing and all this stuff. It's going to go to pay for the well. And then if he starts making money, that's good. But the second he starts making money, that well goes down. It depreciates in value because eventually the well runs dry, right, Sam? I mean, it doesn't always. If we think it's good, we hope it doesn't run dry, but that's what really happens, right, Sam?
Well, that's right. That's why I've been really successful in oil and gas exploration business. I really have. But I got to the point in my life. It took a lot of really. I mean, it's hard work, and it is extremely expensive to put a deal together now. X100K, you can get in here, and I've been preaching that, or not preaching, but I've been talking about that for now 18 months. I can't get you in the oil business, but I can get you in X100K. And this online business, network marketing, and this online business is the best program I've found online today. And it works. It's a good opportunity for everybody. I don't care what your status is. If you want to get in the brick and mortar business, first off, to even qualify to get in it with, you got to show me a $100 million balance sheet. Do you have $100 million? Do you have a balance sheet that's $100 million? Okay, then contact me. Otherwise, I can't even talk to you, period. And then, is there a risk to that? Damn right, there's a big risk. There's about probably 75% there could be a 75% risk that if you put $10 million in, you won't get a penny of that back. So the risk reward to that is great, yes. But, so I'm not even going to try to get you in the oil and gas business because it took me from 1972, and I worked really hard, many years, to I made some money, but I put it back in. My true wealth is really, from 5,000 foot below the surface of the earth down to 17,000 foot. That's where it's called oil and gas reserves. Right now, I'm not producing much of that to the surface because we're not getting paid for much up to the surface. It has value in the ground, but not near as much as it did when oil was selling for $117,000 or $117 per barrel. Now, so it's all relative. And I've seen, you talk about ups, valleys, and ups and downs. This program is a fantastic business opportunity online. It's fantastic. It's a true wealth builder. Does it take time to develop wealth? I don't care what business you're in, what business model you're in. You can get in the real estate business. If you want to get in the food service business, you're talking about you want to put some really hours in the food service business. Get in the food service business and see how many hours you put in, and walk your profits. Go right out the door with your employees taking it home with you. You want to get in that business? Good luck with that. This business opportunity is here. It's here to stay. X100K is here to stay. The risk reward is far less than anything that I can imagine you getting into. So, are there peaks and valleys to any business? If you're really wanting to become an entrepreneur and you want to make true wealth, it takes time to do it, guys. It takes time. I can't think of anything in the world that's boom, you're there. The real world isn't that way, guys. So wake up. This is a fantastic business opportunity. Hit that join button. Get in here. And today's your today is the exact perfect time to start your journey. So get in there, get started, and if you'll follow what we've been trying to teach you the last 18 months and exercise what we've been trying to teach you, you're going to be on your path to wealth. So get in here and get started with us. This is, it's a lot of fun too. There's not much risk me sitting here at my computer in front of a screen typing on a little keyboard and operating a little mouse. There's not much risk in doing that. Out in the oil patch, when I go onto a drilling rig, there's a risk. If we're drilling down at 17,000 foot and we don't have our mud and our hole balance, there's a risk that thing could blow out any time and kill everybody on location. Now, you want to get in the oil business? You sure you want to get in the oil business? Are you sure? I don't think so. Do you want to get in X100K? You ought to. If you're not in, you ought to get in. Hit that join button, fill the form out, and get in here with us and have some fun. Back to you, Michael.
Yeah, and some of this is precautionary. And I was just discussing this about a month ago with somebody who was privy to a similar program that was running about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And what happened? Why is that program not here today? Well, this is why. Because they got too many matrices, and then the system screwed up, and the whole thing went to pot. We don't want that to happen. We have to start. I know that we can run 25 to 30 matrices comfortably, and I don't say comfortably. Once we get to 30, we're starting to be a little worried. I'm nervous. All right, I'm nervous. Going, well, let's hope this thing runs, right? We need to start cutting some of these matrices out of here so that we only have certain number running at a time, and that way we can enable everybody. But I'm not here to take people's money, people. I'm not here to take your money. That's not what I'm all about here. I'm about developing a way for every single person on the planet to become a wealthy person and to have money that is in our own economy. It's our own money. It's our money. It's all our money. All right. But if you withdraw it and go down the street, well, guess what? You just withdrew your part of that money. The rest of it is ours. Because if you don't have positions, you're not going to make money. And believing that it's going to be on that re-entry or is going to be a sad mistake now, right? Now trying to live off of re-entries and fill positions is not going to work because we have to do these things. We have to. There is no choice about it. So in the future, as we go through, we're going to be talking about a little minor update in X100K that talks about what entries are. They're entries off a completed position are considered fill. They are not guaranteed to earn. They are considered entries to cause the process of reaching the LPP number. Once the LPP number is completed, is reached, that matrix will be deleted unless it's a multi-tiered matrix like the turbos, the trifectas, and the S1Ks. And again, these NIS series are going to get smaller. They're going to be smaller. They're not going to be paying out like the S1K. S1K, I'm telling you right now, all right, just a little FYI to everybody, the S1K is going to be the highest paying matrix ever in X100K. After that, you will never get another matrix that pays out that kind of money. All right? And not because I don't want to pay out that kind of money, but because I want to reach a level of completion that is nominal, that is realistic, all right, where the number value is in our favor, right, so that we can actually complete that LPP number, and therefore every position that is purchased reaches that dollar value for that matrix. Again, if you get a tier 1 but the tier 3 is closed, don't expect that tier 1 to reach tier 3 status because there is no tier 3. It's just tier 1 and tier 2. And those are things that you're going to have to think about in the future as we move along with X100K. The scavenger series, pretty darn simple, right? 2 levels, 9 positions to complete that second level. That's going to happen. That's an easy matrix for us to complete. That means that if people go in and do the 100% purchasing max pro status every single day in those scavengers, a person in X100K, granted, right? Don't think that I don't understand what's going on here, right? Of 500 positions, that's $35,000, right? 7,250 times 500, a little over $35,000. But the return is 150 grand. That is a good purchase. All right. That's what we're talking about. You want to be able to make those kind of purchases. Now, again, 7250 into 300 makes you loyal. If that's all you can do, good news for you, because now you're loyal. You're going to get into the S1K early. That position can move all the way up to the tier 3. Again, we're going to see a lot of purchasing on that lower level, tier 1, causing a lot of tier 2 and tier 3 positions to be created before the LPP number is reached. All right. Again, the LPP number, once we reach it, that matrix is deleted unless it's a feeder series, right? Like the tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Tier 1 feeds tier 2, tier 2 feeds tier 3 in the S1K series. So when we reach, if the S1K tier 1 is completed, but tier 2 and tier 3 are not, we are still going to feed that tier 1 until the tier 2 and the tier 3 are done before deleting that matrix. And it will be deleted based on tiers. So if tier 3 is completed and tier 1 and tier 2 are not, it will be deleted. And again, that dollar value that would come off the end that would normally give you that tier 3 position will be turned into scavenger series and login ads. Just a little FYI, again, I did some math the other day just on positions purchased, again, people, just on positions purchased in the matrix today. We reach LPP number on all of those matrices. We're talking about $3.5 million worth of login ads. $3.5 million. We're looking at being the most popular site this year than ever, because we give you these opportunities to develop true wealth. I will be giving a PIP Millionaires Academy webinar tonight. I will be giving a PIP webinar next Tuesday. I didn't do it this past Tuesday because there was a lot of things going on at PIP that I just didn't want to drag a bunch of people in when we didn't know some answers. So I want to talk a little bit more about that next Tuesday. I will be giving a PIP webinar. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we do these webinars for you so that you can learn to earn, and you people on the outside can actually see the person who runs the program. I'm here for you. I'm not here to make X100K. The last thing I want to have happen right now, people, is S1K die because we didn't do something today to prevent it from happening tomorrow. All right? I'm not a procrastinator. I'm not like Sam. As Sam says, wait's what broke the bridge. If we wait till then, the bridge will be broken. All right? We have to do this starting now. And if we do this starting now, when it comes time to that date, when we reach that point, then we're going to be able to achieve that process 100%. All right? Just so you guys know how that works. Justine, what do you think of the new opportunity for us to develop these LPP numbers in this year's 100% series year?
I think it's a really awesome thing. I think it's a great idea, and it's a lot of information to process. So if you're having a hard time grasping things, that's totally okay. You can rewatch the webinars, things like that. I also think that we should kind of treat this as like a relaunch for the trifecta, because knowing this information and knowing what's happening in the future, that might affect whether or not you want to continue to purchase.
Exactly, and that's another reason why we bring these. I bring this up to you guys, and I talk about the trifecta a lot, about how we haven't reached the number value in that race 2 that I'm happy with. So just a little, that's what I'm trying to say. In case you might see a smile here, but I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the race 2. I'm not happy with our purchasing. I'm not happy with what people didn't bother to leverage. And now I'm going to make you pay. I'm going to make you pay so bad that most of you are going to be like, dang it, what did I withdraw all that money for? Now you're going to see how terrible a decision that is. What about you, John?
Well, Michael, I'm really glad you'd done it now when you could, because you wanted to, rather than 2 or 3 years down the time when you had to, because it would have been a lot harder, and I think the members would have lost a lot more. I think you've done a fantastic job, and you've done it at the right time. I really do. People are moaning about, the retention. It's for the benefit of the members. It's going to keep the program going. The matrices are smaller. Yes, they are, but they're going to fill quicker. So in the long run, you're going to earn the same amount of money, but a lot quicker. What he's done is not just to help the members earn, it's to help keep the program sustainable. That's the main thing. If it's not sustainable, then it's gone. These measures Michael's taking now is going to keep the program sustainable, not just 2017. Well, after I pick my kick my clogs, it'll still be going because of the measures he's taking now. You can help as well by keeping your funds current. The more people that fund their account and keep the funds, keep their $7 going in every week, that speeds the matrices up. And the more the matrices fill up, the more money you earn, the more you can keep your accounts going. There's plenty of help out there. If you want it, get in touch. But try your best to keep your $7 in every week. It's not just a $7 matrix. When that fills, gets you a scavenger. Try. But listen to what Michael says. And if you don't understand it, for goodness sake, listen to the recording again, because it is important. Back to you, Michael.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to bring up, right, too, is that residual retention system has two different levels of payout. Your first payout, the residual retention system, is at $37. The second payout, it's $187 that you have to keep in your account in order for you to withdraw. And again, that's a number value that is simplistic. It's exactly 6 months of subscriptions for you. It gives you that 6 months of subscriptions to develop loyalty. Loyalty enables you to get in these early to these matrices so that you can be enabled again over and over and over and over. All right, so it's an enabling process. You got to look at it as if you're looking at it as like, it's not fair. I'll tell you what's not fair. Do you want me to start naming off websites that aren't here, that were here last year at this time? Because they're not here right now. How much money did you lose in those? Are you still complaining? You're still whining about, oh, it's not fair. You know, because where's that money? I got money in those programs too. They're not paying me back. You think I talk to those admins at all? They don't even talk to me. And I run a multi-million-dollar website. Theirs only made it like $300,000. They only made $127,000. They only paid out $200,000. Not $1 million like X100K. Not the $2 million it's going to pay out. The $3 million, the $5 million, or the $10 million. Because when we get done, and I'm not saying like it's done, but when we get to that level, no other matrix, no other company, no other anything is going to be as powerful as X100K. And that's my promise. I promise to work my butt off to make sure that it does. Why? Because I need to make money just like you. And I need my X100K to make money. And I need it to keep running when you guys are screwing it up. So prevent things you screwing up my future, which is everybody else's future. All right, I'm going to raise the residual retention system so that you are enabled. If you utilize it for what it's been put in there for, to enable you to be able to be loyal and purchase into a brand new matrix, and therefore enable you again in that process to continue, those are the things that you need to understand. You need to be able to be enabled. What would you like to add there, Byron, before we end the show?
Well, there's only one thing that I'd like to add, that the cash and dashes would start to learn to look after their business and their downline. It's with this new retention setup that Michael's done, it's going to stop a lot of them from jumping and doing the wrong thing. But it's still it's up to them to work their business. This is a business, and no matter what you do, you look after yourself if you keep your business going. If you shut the doors, you make no money, and that's the same here. If you just draw everything out, you're virtually shutting the doors on your business. But Michael still hasn't told me where to find that withdrawal button, and I'm still trying, but we'll get there someday. But anyway, back to you, Michael.
Yeah, and we, again, not knowing, and then when the day comes that you do actually start withdrawing, it's going to be on a regular basis, right, Byron? It won't be like, oh, you know, I can. It'll be because you literally have to, because you can't purchase anymore. That's true wealth, and we're going to build it right here at X100K. I want to thank everybody.
Coming, Michael.
Yeah, it's
definitely coming. That's very close.
And just a little FYI, that's what he's talking about, people. Byron has never withdrawn a penny. Neither is Sam Nickel. Neither is John. Neither is a lot of people in X100K. And that's how far he's gotten in 2 years. Working the system, leveraging, doing what I tell him to do, doing what I tell you people to do right here on these live broadcasts about leveraging, Byron is making hundreds of dollars per week when most of you aren't making any, because he keeps buying and keeps buying for his downline. He keeps buying hundreds of dollars per week, people. Not just $7 a week. I'm talking about hundreds. That's where he's at right now. Again, coming up with a new scavenger series. He's going to be a Max Pro with that baby for a long, long time when other people can't. Why? Because they withdrew $1.1 million. That's why. When Byron could have withdrawn $35,000 right now if he wanted to. Sam Nickel as well. Sam's up to the $40,000 or $50,000 in purchases that he's made. $40,000 to $50,000 in purchases. Not just cycle entries or whatever. We're talking about in his back office. But I just want to thank everybody for showing up today. We've been here for a little over an hour, coming up at an hour and a half, and I want to thank everybody for showing up. Doug and Anders and Brandon and Shirley and Tim and Dean and Sophie and BC Mike and Brandon and everybody. Thank you guys for showing up, and we'll see you next week. I'll talk to you later.
Monday.
See you all. Catch us next time.
Bye-bye.
See you Monday.